Hello, 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 hello. How's everyone doing? This is Saima, and you're listening to Heart with me, the podcast show for people searching for that courageous person within us who wants to be inspired by listening to stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I'm Saima Dillon, your host. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. Let's dive right in. Today, my guest is founder and CEO of Naked Warrior Recovery, a CBD company focused on the recovery of veterans and first responders. He is a retired Navy SEAL with 26 years of service. He has served on both traditional SEAL teams, taught as a SEAL Sniper Instructor, and served on teams that specialized in undersea operations, whose mission must be approved by the President of the United States. He led major combat operations ranging from protecting the interim Iraqi elected officials to direct action missions in Baghdad and across Amber province. After retiring in military in 2018, he realized that he was suffering from physical and psychological symptoms that negatively impacted his well-being and quality of life. Migraines, severe anxiety, chronic pains, difficulty focusing, difficulty sleeping, falling asleep, and depression are some of the symptoms that he struggled with on a daily basis. So, without waiting anymore, with extreme excitement, am excited to bring William on here. Hey, William. Good afternoon.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Thanks for having me. I was
Absolutely.
like listening to that. I'm like, that's like a pretty cool dude. Who are you bringing on? That's I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, that's me, and I'm like getting a little emotional over here. So
it reminds me of Vikram. So I will say the Naked Warrior.
that a girl.
So some people leave that impact, right? And I think that's Vikram for us right there. So how are you today, William?
I'm doing well. We had, some technical challenges just a few minutes ago, and we worked through those really quickly.
Absolutely.
I like to try to perform under pressure. I find that I find that I don't know, maybe it's my personality or I don't know what it is about me, but I like to have that little extra pressure, and it boosts my performance.
That adrenaline rush and makes you. I mean, I was just while I was, I was looking at your bio, and and actually, I'm really honored because just the word Navy SEALs, it has all this aura around it, and you're the second Navy SEAL who's now on my show.
Who was the first? I'm gonna go find him and beat him up.
His name is Rich Cardona, and he is also a ex-Navy SEAL. And he's another wonderful person who came on my show, and he's running a digital marketing company now. And I'll share that episode with you. Another really cool person, just like yourself, William. So
I think I know who Rich is. I think I've connected with him on LinkedIn.
Okay. And let me know.
I've never worked with him, but I will. I'm gonna look into Rich and see.
Absolutely. Let me know if you would like for me to do an introduction with Rich. Very
awesome.
Cool person. I would definitely do that. So tell me how. What I usually like to do is I like to start by handing over my screen to you and giving you a couple of minutes to just share about what you're doing, your journey, about you. So are you ready for the spotlight, William?
I'll take the spotlight. This is the kind of pressure that I don't like, but we will try to work through it.
We are breaking you in. Here you go.
So, all right. Oh my gosh, I'm only looking at myself. This is a little bit weird. So my name is William Branum. I am originally from Meridian, Mississippi. And let me tell you, there's not a whole lot in Meridian, Mississippi. there's some good people that live there. That's where I grew up. I, started off in the Boy Scouts. And then, from there, I kind of worked out or learned to have this sort of mentality of a little bit of discipline. I liked the outdoors. I liked achieving goals that I wasn't that good at school. I didn't really like school. I liked girls in school, but I didn't really like school. And I didn't really know that I had a pretty severe form of ADD. So if I bump around here, it's, full disclosure up front, I may have a fair amount of ADD. But being in the Boy Scouts, I always knew that I wanted to be in some sort of military unit, some sort of commando type unit, but I didn't know what they were. Being a Navy SEAL, that wasn't cool. No one even knew what a Navy SEAL was back in the day. And through the Boy Scouts, I learned about, I knew what Army Rangers were. I knew what a Green Beret was. And brain not working all the way. John Wayne was a Green Beret in Vietnam, at least in the movies he was. Chuck Norris was part of Delta Force. And so I knew all of these sort of Army special forces. I didn't even know the word special forces back then, but sort of commando units. And I knew what a ninja was. So I kind of wanted to be a ninja also when I grew up, because I watched some Kung Fu theater. And so eventually I found out what Navy SEALs were. They jumped out of airplanes, they shot guns, they ran around in the woods, in the jungle, they wore camouflage, they swam, they scuba dove, they jumped out of airplanes, they did all these cool things. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be a Navy SEAL, because I like the water also. Rangers are cool, maybe Green Berets are cool, but Navy SEALs, they do all that other stuff, but they're also in the water. So, and the missions aren't exactly the same, but eventually I joined the Navy to become a SEAL. I made some tactical errors while in the Navy. I found myself on a ship in Yokosuka, Japan for 2 years, and it took a lot of effort, a lot of failure for me to, and when I say failure, I mean, my tactical errors is when I joined the Navy, I became what's called a gunner's mate. And a gunner's mate is a person that they work on gun systems and missile launchers on Navy ships. And that's what the Navy does. And then I took another school with the Navy to get in better shape before I went to BUD/S. But what I didn't know is, because I took that school, I had 24 months of obligated service that I had to give back to the Navy. And then while I was on that ship in Yokosuka, Japan, I called up the guy who was going to tell me where to go next. And I said, hey, I want to be a SEAL. I'm going to put a package in to go to SEAL training. And he's like, you can put a package in, but you're not going to go because you are too critical to the Navy, because the Navy, all they care about are those big floaty things out in the water. They don't care what a SEAL is. And so I had to school for a very special missile launcher. I worked on Tomahawk missiles for missile launchers for Tomahawk missiles. And so I was very specialized in the Navy, and the Navy did not want to let me go. So they told me no for almost 2 years, until the Chief of Naval Operations, who's the most senior guy in the Navy. There's only two people more senior to him, and that's the Secretary of Defense and the President of the United States, came to my little ship in Yokosuka, Japan, and he had CNO's call. And I raised my hand and I said, hey, yeah, I have a question. I joined the Navy to be a SEAL. I think I deserve a chance to go. My detailer won't let me go. But I think I deserve a chance, because that's why I joined the Navy. And he said, you're right. You'll be in the first class after your time on the ship is up, which was about 6 weeks later. I called Washington that night and said, hey, have you heard anything about my, only like 2 hours later, have you heard anything about my package? And they said, yeah, we mailed your orders out this morning. And this was before the internet, before, we had faxes, was like the most high speed, secure communication that we had. We had, regular telephones and things like that. So eventually I got to go to SEAL training, which is 6 months long. And it took me a short 13 months to graduate SEAL training, because I got hurt several times, but I learned some amazing lessons about myself, about, really getting outside your comfort zone, about pushing through pain, about, you always have a little more in the tank. It doesn't matter how tired you are, mentally, physically, emotionally, you can always push a little bit further. So I learned a lot about myself. My first SEAL team was an underwater, we call them SEAL delivery vehicles. They're mini submarine. And you put 4 guys in the back and 2 guys in the front that drive and navigate. And we, it's kind of like if you think about a smart car. You get in a smart car with, you take the seats out. There's no seats in it, and you sit on the floor, and then you smash the top down to where you can't really see out the windshield, and then you paint all the windows black, and then you put all of the gear that you're going to put on, scuba gear and all of your gunfighting gear on. You have guns, you have your backpacks full of 3 days worth of equipment, radios, water, food, and warmies and hide material, and shove all that into your smart car, and then you fill it up with water, and then you fill it with ice also, because a lot of times the water is, I think the coldest for the duration that I've done is about 38 degrees for about 4.5 hours. And you put a regulator in your mouth, so you're only breathing off this little tube bubbles, and then you have a guy sitting in your lap, and then there's a guy sitting next to you in your lap, and you can't move, and then you're going, it's completely dark. You can't move, you can't communicate, you can't anything until you get wherever you're going. And then you get out, you go across the beach, you go do your thing, you come back. Sniper school. I went to sniper school, and then I became a sniper instructor, which really taught me about, I think I know stuff. I don't know anything until I start teaching. When I start teaching people, that's when I actually start to learn. And then I went to some other SEAL teams. I did in post 9/11. I did 7 combat deployments. I worked at the headquarters in California, and then I came to Hawaii and went back to the underwater sort of missions, because they were doing some very strategic, very cool, very unsexy, but the strategic ramifications of some of the things we were doing was very cool. And again, like kind of you said in the in brief, the missions that we do for that team are approved by the President of the United States. A regular SEAL team, you just have your whoever your commanding officer, or maybe someone above him, approves missions when you're deployed. The missions that we're doing here require the president to approve. So that just shows the level of strategic mission that we were doing at that time. So, and then from there I retired, and I started a consulting company that wasn't awesome. And then I also noticed that I, was suffering from a lot of pain, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of, toxic relationships from my past. And, I had a hard time. Things up here weren't quite where they needed to be. They weren't optimized. And so someone introduced CBD to me, and it affected me in such a positive way. Not right away. It wasn't like a magic pill, but it affected me in such a positive way that I was it was a modality to help me have good, positive self-talk. And then I could roll from there, and I could stop some of the bad habits, because I was having good, positive self-talk. And that eventually led me to, I'm like, well, if this is helping me in such an impactful way, then I should start a company. And it wasn't quite that simple, but that's the short version. I should start a company and help other people that suffer just like me, other veterans, first responders, stay-at-home moms, real estate business owners. There are people that are they're suffering in silence. They have all this negativity in their mind because of whatever goes on in their life. And so that was why I started Naked Warrior Recovery. So, I think I might have gotten a little ahead of some questions you were going to ask.
And that's okay. That's not a problem. My show is very interactive, and it's very casual. And, they are literally heart-to-heart conversations that I have with my guest. So such a cool journey, William. For us, so much of it, as you can see, everything happens. The dog barks in the background. The cat jumps all over. So
the internet wasn't working. Yeah.
The internet wasn't working, but all in a day's work. So, having said that, how did you? So for us, ordinary people, for a person like myself who has to really you know, it's so mentally grueling to get my mindset in the right place to even get myself to the gym.
Yes.
And then witnessing and speaking to someone like yourself, um, you know, we watch Navy SEALs in movies,
Right.
and you know, doing all these amazing things, and we sit there in awe, just like we watch James Bond. We sit there in awe, and we look at all the amazing, you know, it requires so much mental strength and so much, such perseverance to be able to do the things that Navy SEALs do. How was that journey for you?
So it's interesting. Some people ask me about, SEAL training, BUDS, basic underwater demolition SEAL training, and BUDS is hard. We have a more than a 70% attrition rate. As a matter of fact, the class, I'm still friends with people that are still active and still part of some of the training. And I noticed about 6 weeks ago, a class went through Hell Week. Maybe it was a little more than that, but it was a winter Hell Week. Winter is harder than summer because people don't believe that in Southern California it gets cold. It gets very cold, and the water is frigid. But anyway, that class started with, I don't know, 150, 170 guys. And they graduate, and Hell Week is, I think, now the 4th or 5th week. I don't remember. They've sort of changed the curriculum since I've gone through, but we'll just say for conversation purposes, Hell Week is the 5th week of training. And it's a week of no sleep, and they're pushing you the whole time. It's a 24/7 evolution. You go from this to this and this to this to this to this, and you're in the water and you're cold and you're wet the whole time. The only time that they allow you to be dry is when we have safety sort of health and comfort inspections every day, and it could be twice a day, but every day to see if you have like flesh-eating bacteria, or you have like something weird growing on you, or broken bones, or things that aren't whatever. And if there's like something that is like you could die from, they will pull you out, and you have to start over if you want to start over. But during that time, you rinse off. The docs look at you head to toe and inspect you and ask you if you're okay, how are you doing, whatever. And then you put dry clothes on, and then pretty much as soon as you're dry, you go get back in the frigid ocean again and cool off, because apparently you've been too warm. And get some sand in your clothes, and then put the boat back on your head, and off we go again for more fun. No matter how hard that was, that whole time in BUDS, I had fun, but I always knew no matter how miserable it was, they can't hurt you. You're not gonna die. They can't, I mean, they can hurt you, but they can't break you unless you want to be broken. Yeah. And there's always this thing in the back of my mind that was like, well, you know what? In about an hour, I'm going to be in a warm shower, and then I'm going to be in my warm bed. And then I start over tomorrow. So, but in the real world, there have been scenarios where I didn't know when that hour was up. That hour turned into days. And we're like, oh, this is terrible. Or, in that little black tube underwater, freezing, maybe we're having boat trouble and we're just like bobbing around out in the ocean. It's a bad sea state. Guys in the boat are like throwing up in their regulator. You have chum inside the boat. It was terrible experiences. But, also sort of in the combat environment, you could be there and, you're going out for a few hours to do some work, and then you're still doing work a week and a half later, and people have to like fly in resupplies to you, and you don't know when that time is ever going to end. So SEAL training is really just about to see if you have what it takes. I will tell you that anyone can make it through SEAL training if you go there with a reasonable amount of physical fitness. Anyone can make it through. It's do you have what it takes to just stay there? Like, just accept it. Because, I had Olympic athletes in my class. There were all these guys that were amazing physical specimens. They were fast runners, fast swimmers. They could do the obstacle course. They could do everything so much better than me. I am average at the very best. Average on the low side. And when they were quitting, I was like, what's going on? It's not even that hard. I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, the cold, but it's just like, do you want to be there? And so that's sort of this lesson that we have to, and I made the mistake of like, I made it through SEAL training. I don't have to work that hard anymore. That was a big mistake when I showed up to the teams, like mentally, like this is when the work actually begins. That was just a selection. That was like, that's over. So what? I mean, when I was going through sniper school, I thought sniper school was almost as hard as BUD/S, just in a different way. It was more mental. There was a lot of physical stuff. They're training you, but you're still working very hard and you cannot slack off. And through every other block of training. And so what we have in the SEAL teams that's different from the other special forces is we have a very dedicated, very structured blocks of training that allow us to get where we need to go. So we will always come back from a deployment and we will start our training at the very basics. And we work the basics. And then because we always get new guys that come in that don't know the advanced techniques that we've worked up to or things that we've done on deployment. So we'll come back and we'll do the basics and we'll step up until we build, a solid foundation. And then we go from there. And then we start working on more advanced techniques that are more specific to what we're going to do when we go overseas. But that's also kind of the things for kind of what you're talking about, just finding the motivation just to go work out. I still struggle with that some days. And I'm like, you know what? I just have to like tell myself, just go do it. Just do the work. And
it's not difficult. It's
not mind. Hard. I mean, I have this, and I'm a super trainer for this machine. It's called a Katsu. It's a blood flow restriction machine. It's these arm bands and leg bands. They restrict your blood flow. And there's some really cool metabolic effects that come from that. It takes 30 seconds to put the bands on. Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like putting the bands on. Are you kidding me? It's like putting your pants on.
Especially after what you've gone through.
Right. But it's like, it's super easy to do. But I still find myself like, I don't really feel like, and I'm like, dude, stop being such a loser and just do the work. Okay, fine. I'll do the work. And after I do it, I just have to take one step to do it, or maybe 2 steps or 3 steps. And usually it's 3 steps for me to like actually engage. If I don't just commit to 3 steps, I won't do it. And then I feel terrible about myself. And then, so that's a loss. That's a quit. I like quit on myself. Yeah. So quitting is a habit. And if we, and I think Michael Jordan said it best, quitting is a habit. So I will never, ever quit. And so I have to like play that in the back of my head. Like you can't quit. And that doesn't mean like quitting doesn't mean, don't quit smoking or don't quit drinking or don't quit bad habits or whatever. It means don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on the things that actually matter in your life. So, yeah.
And again, that is also a mindset, right?
It's also a mindset. And, that's really what Get Naked is. And so the Naked Warrior and Get Naked. And, some people are like, what is that? And I actually was at an event this weekend and I'm wearing, my hat that says Get Naked. I was wearing a Naked Warrior shirt that's like that guy right there. And it was at an event that is going to come out. It's a video that's going to come out on Memorial Day where we honor and we call out the names of fallen SEALs. And there's these Naked Warriors statues that are around the United States. There's one here in Hawaii because back in the day, they used to train here in Hawaii. They've trained in Fort Pierce, Florida. They also train in San Diego, California. So there's these statues, these Naked Warrior statues, which is that guy right there. And so we got in there and after the event was over, no one really only one of the guys that was there knows what I'm doing now. And so I'm able to like Get Naked is also a way. And I was like, it's really about, kind of mental health and like taking your ego off and put it in the corner and all the crap that other people put on you that you carry around that just weighs you down, like taking that off and put it in the corner and sort of exposing yourself so you can find healing that you need. Because, in the SEAL teams, we go into combat, we go into harm's way, we put our body armor on. And that's how we, and it saves our lives time and time again. And that's a good thing. And then when we come back from the mission, we take our armor off and we, go take a shower, we get naked, we heal up, we rest up, and we get ready for the next mission. And so, get naked is this, if you think about it, it's taking your ego off. It's taking your armor off that you wear around because you've been attacked. You've been by whatever it is. Maybe it's some sort of childhood trauma. Maybe it's a domestic partner, toxic relationship. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a family member. It doesn't matter. It's like we get attacked every day, and we have a choice. We can either wear that around and let it bother us, or we can take it off, put it in the corner, and just be naked and be vulnerable, be exposed, and find the healing that we need, and choose our own happiness, choose to not carry that stuff around. And so that's also the mindset. That's
not easy to do.
It is not easy to do. And if you see my shirt, it says "Get Naked." It's that simple. It's not simple. It's very hard. Like it sounds really easy to do. We get naked every night. We take our clothes off, we take a shower, whatever. It's that, but it's really when it comes down to it, if you want to find the healing and recovery that you need from the stresses in your life, you just take it off. Just get naked, take it off, and put it in the corner. And then get naked also has another meaning, and I'll go into that in a minute.
I was just saying that you can only do that if you have the internal courage to be unapologetically you, and that is not easy, because it means that you have to have that strength to be able to stand up to people's judgment and people's opinions about you. And no matter what, you have to be able to take yourself through that journey where you are oblivious to what people think about you or say about you or feel about you.
Absolutely. And you have to be willing to. So I took a negotiation class. One of my old bosses, the Navy paid for him to go to Harvard to get his master's. And I was like, how did you, what? And he said one of his favorite classes at Harvard was negotiation. And so the team hired his instructor and his adjunct professor to come in and give us like a 3-day negotiation class. And at the end of the day, all you need to know about negotiation is what are you willing to pay and what are you willing to lose? What is your bottom line? And then everything above that is gravy, and everything below that is, well, I'm not going to go below that. So in your life, you have to find out, like, if it's people that are pulling you down and they're putting their crap on you and they're causing you to like always have your armor on, you have to make the decision to either live with it or to be brave enough to get out of it and remove those people from your life. That's a very hard thing to do, but it's totally doable. And when you do it, life is better. Like, it's not like everything is better, but there's that part of you that can become whole again, instead of just being, chipped away and carved away by someone who's always, and they may not even know that they're doing something to you, in all fairness. But a lot of times
it could be part of the culture. It could be part of their upbringing, or just,
sure. But there's also a saying out there that says, hurt people hurt people. People who are hurt people. And so I've found that to be pretty accurate. Yeah. So I choose to not be hurt anymore. So I remove those people that are hurt and that want to hurt me. So
I'll share something really cool with you, William. So for me, 2020 has been a life-changing year. Just a lot of growth, a lot of things, and just lots of change happening. And 2020 cut me off from most of the world and confined me in my home space with my daughters. And in that space, I started growing and I started executing a lot of things. And that's, with us being together in the mastermind group, which of course happened in 2021. But I connected with Sharon in 2020 as well. And so just lots of change and spending a lot of time with my girls. And yesterday I was talking about some changes with my 20-year-old. And she told me that...
How do you have a 20-year-old? You're only like 32 or so, right?
Plus minus. So I was talking to my 20-year-old, and she was like, Mom, when change starts happening in life, change requires for you to let go of a lot of things that were present in your life, but they no longer serve you. So change requires that a lot of the things that you are used to are going to not be in that space, because they're not going to be part of that journey that you move on in life. And just again, very deep conversations with my daughters, because we spent all this time confined in the home space, and getting to know each other. And life teaches you a lot. And so I thought that right there, so many things you're going to leave behind as you move forward and you evolve in life.
Right. 100%. And I'm not speaking about having an easy life. I think adversity is a good thing. We go to the gym to work out, to do things that are hard, because those are things that hard work is what makes our muscles grow. And you have to do it in, reading or writing or doing things that you're very uncomfortable doing. Speaking, I don't like public speaking, but once I start doing it, I'm like, all right, this is cool. I like doing this, and it makes me better. And the more I do it, your brain works like it's like you do new things, and it creates new neurosynapses in the brain. It creates new skills, new whatever. And, if we should not ask for a easy life, we should just ask for and this is a kind of a cliche, someone else said this, ask for the strength to work through those things that challenge us in life, and then learn from those things. And so I think, that, and again, this is all kind of comes back to, what Get Naked is. And Get Naked is really, get is take action. It's an act, it's a verb, it's take action, go do it now. And the N, I'm looking at my screen. The N is for never quit. And like I said earlier, never quit doesn't mean, don't quit smoking, don't quit drinking, don't quit a toxic relationship. Like if you have a toxic relationship, that's why I left my phone in the other room, because I knew I would get a call. You like get out of that. Like stop doing things that are harming you. Quit doing that, but never quit trying to improve yourself. The A is accept failure. Failure is like a beautiful lesson. Every time you fail is you create a foundation for success. Thomas Edison discovered 10,000 different ways to not create the incandescent light bulb. He had more than 10,000 failures before he created the light bulb. So failure is just a foundation for success. So accept failure, learn from it, be joyful that you had that experience, and then move on. The K is kill mediocrity, because, again, we're not about an easy life. Life should not be easy. Life should challenge us. It should challenge us in good ways and bad ways. And if it challenges us in bad ways, we're going to learn lessons that we're going to be able to pass on to other people. And I've gone through some pretty gnarly things mentally, emotionally. And my experiences, I've been able to pass those off to other people. And whether they take my lessons and run with them or not is up to them.
Yeah.
But, because I've gone through a certain amount of suffering, I'm able to pass that knowledge to other people. Like you do this. The E is for expose your fears. So fear holds us back from everything, and fear it's just our mind. It's 100% in our mind, and it's all about something that hasn't happened yet. It's anticipation of something that hasn't happened. And if you think about it like that, like how silly is that? And then Sharon says it, and I told him that I would always give him credit for this. Actually, I asked him if he stole it from someone, and if he did, who is it that I should give credit to? And he's like, I think maybe I made it up, or my dad, or something like that. But Sharon says it very, very good, where he says, write your fears down. Fear does not exist on paper. So, that is a fantastic practice. So if you're, things are bothering you, write it down. Write down exactly what it is. Like so-and-so sent me an email and it hurt my feelings. I don't want to reply because I don't want to whatever, or whatever it is. But, write down your fears, share them with people. You know, fear doesn't exist on paper. When you look at it and read it on paper, you're like, that's really what's bothering me. And so that was a really cool exercise that I learned from Sharon. But really, it's, you know, and, you know, people talk about psychiatrists and mental health and things like that. I don't like to talk to psychiatrist-y people. I feel like they're judging me. But the value in that is when you share what's bothering you, people can give you a different perspective. When you actually verbalize what's bothering you, you're able to process it differently. If you say it out loud, if you share it with someone, if you write it down, it comes, you know, it's buried back here in this dark place of your brain. It just like that paralyzes you sometimes. And if you're able to like reach back there and pull it out and articulate it, and then you can be like, oh, maybe it's not really that bad. Or you can spin yourself into another way. But if you share it with someone and you expose it, then you're able to get different perspectives on the things that are scaring you. And the D is to do the work. So anything worth doing is worth finishing. So, you know, just like going to work out, you got to show up. You got to do the work. You're not going to get strong. You're not going to get healthy. You're not going to do whatever. You have to do the work every day. You can't not do the work. And I'll pause.
And that's
transitions are terrible.
What was that?
I said my transitions are terrible.
I was like, okay.
Okay.
You're done, William?
Mm-hmm. You know, in the military, when you're talking on the radio, when you're done talking, you say over.
Yeah.
And I've noticed on Clubhouse, they have like and I'm William Branum and I am complete or something like that, or whatever the lingo is. And I'm like, I just can't say that. I'm not, a lot of times I'll say over. Because that's my vernacular from my military experience.
And you know what? That's what this is about, right? Whatever works.
Right. What works for you? All right. Run with that. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it doesn't work, pivot.
And that's wonderful, William. I mean, the way you broke it down and what the word naked stands for. I always tell my guests that, you know, I started live streaming. I started doing my podcast. It's been a year now. And it's been life-changing for me. And it's been life-changing because the guests who have been coming on my show every single week, they are different people with different unique experiences. And what they bring on to the show, they come and they enrich my life with their experiences and their wisdom. And I mean, I cannot tell you, but my live stream has just, you know, it's changed my life. And your perspective on how, you know, the word naked and how it's all about just being yourself. It's the most difficult thing in the world to find the courage to just be your authentic self and to be unapologetically you, because all around you, nobody wants you to put your true picture out there, who you truly are. And people are fine with that level of hypocrisy in their life. And I feel that I myself am very blessed to have my girls in my life because, you know, like I was telling you earlier, they enrich me, and I sit down and I have my discussions with them, especially when I'm like, okay, this or that. And, you know, they guide me. So, you know, from that perspective. So, William, tell me, if you look back, what is the best thing that being a Navy SEAL taught you? What is it that you're taking forward with you?
That's a tough question. Let me think about that for just a second. I was kind of thinking about some of the questions that you sent earlier, like, you know, what makes you proud, what gives you a high in life, and I was kind of thinking about those before the show, and as you're talking about, and you know, my answer to myself or my answer to you or whoever, what makes you proud, and I was going to say my kids, because even though two of my three kids do not speak to me, you know, they're from a previous marriage. I'm still extremely proud of them. I'm proud of the accomplishments And once they change where they are in their lives, I believe that I will be able to have a relationship with them. So even though they don't currently communicate with me in any way, shape, or form, I'm still very proud of them. And then Emily, who lives here in Hawaii with me, some of the things, she'll say things and I'm like, where did you even learn that? And I'm like, that sounds like my language or her mom's language, and it's like very smart. Or she does, there's a mountain, I don't know if it's called a mountain, but it's a very big hill. Yeah. We'll call it a mountain. And right outside here. And, we hike up that thing all the time. And there's a cool, mountain bike, very technical mountain bike trail. And sometimes she's just like, all right, Dad, let's go. She had some TV time. She has to earn her TV time. She's 7.5. She'll be 8 in June. And she has to earn TV time. And I asked her yesterday, hey, do you want to go climb the mountain with me? She was like, yes, I don't need to watch TV right now. And I was like, dude, my heart just exploded. Wow. It was awesome just to spend time like that. She loves to go surf with me. She wants to spearfish. She wants to start spearfishing. We've got some skills to work on, but going back to your question of, what is the biggest lesson that, so to finish that thought, it sounds like some of the things that make you proud are your girls, yes. The relationships that you guys have and the way that you're able to move forward and communicate and just make one another better. And so that's super cool. And I'm very happy to hear that. That makes my heart warm.
It's something we have worked towards.
Sure. So. And it's all nothing is free. Nothing in life is free. It costs something. What are you willing to pay for it? So, and that kind of goes back to negotiation. What are you willing to pay? Are you willing to pay with bad suffering or good suffering? And that reminds me of I was talking to someone a little while ago. So going back to Hell Week, and this will maybe a little bit answer your question, is, we work in boat crews. So there's 7 guys. I didn't even finish telling that story about, this last boat crew that I saw. So this last Hell Week, they went from 150 guys that started the class, and they graduated Hell Week with no more than 14 people.
Wow. So,
I know people got hurt. A lot of people quit, but it was very cold. And I think that's when Texas was freezing over, and there was this huge cold snap across the country. So they went from they started, 5 weeks ago with 150, 170 people, and they finished their 5th week of training with no more than 14 people in that class, because there were only 2 boats left. There's 7 guys on a boat. You all work together. You all suffer together. And so that's legit. Wow. But so when I was going through Hell Week, I was in boat crew 3, and there were no superstars in that boat crew. We're all mediocre, average at best. Some are a little better runners, some are better looking than others. I don't know how you judge people. But we were all just sort of average dudes there, no superstars. And I noticed that boat crew. I was in a different boat crew when Hell Week kicked off, but a lot of people quit. And I noticed these guys kept winning. And the boat crew you expect to always win are the big guys. Boat crew 1, because it's in height order. They would win some, but this boat crew 3, and it was only Sunday and into Monday, they were winning a lot more. And I'm noticing that. And I'm like, why can't I get these guys that are around me to go faster? And so, and then guys are wanting to quit. And I've been at SEAL training for kind of a long time. And I'm like, all right, in the beginning, when I first got there, I was like, yeah, no, don't quit. And now I'm at this point, I've been there for at least 6 months. And I'm finally getting to go through Hell Week. I'm like, I'm so happy. And these guys are like, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, get out. You don't belong here. You're in my way right now. A little callous, but at the end of the day, they were going to quit anyway. So just help you along.
That's the nature of the place you're in.
Right.
That's what
do you want to be here or do you not?
Yeah.
So they didn't want to be there. So after enough people quit, we lined back up to you have 4 people in this boat crew, 5 people in, and so we line back up, and you get in boat crew order. They count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boat crew 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boat crew 2, 1, 2, 3. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boat crew 3. So I'm if I'm not tall enough, I'm like getting on the thing, like piling some sand under my feet, so I'm like equal with the guys around me, or if I squat down just to make sure that I was in that boat crew. And what I learned, and we won 95% of the races and everything. It pays to be a winner. Maybe you get to sit down for like 3 minutes longer than anyone else. But what I realized, what I learned in that boat crew is, going through Hell Week, is we all suffer. We're all going to suffer at some point in our life. And the decision is, are you going to suffer in the front or are you going to suffer in the back? And what I mean by that is, everything was a race, but every time we went from like the beach to go eat, it's a mile to get there. You can be at the back of the train and you're always playing catch up, or you can be at the front boat crew, the front boat, and you're dictating the pace. It still sucks. You're still going to suffer. Are you going to suffer in the back and always try to play catch up? Or are you going to put forth 1% more work and suffer in the front? It's suffering no matter what. Suffer in the back or suffer in the front. I want to suffer in the front. And I learned, being around these other guys who, again, it wasn't a bunch of like superstars. None of us were superstars. But they all wanted, like, unspoken, they all wanted to be in the front. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't let my teammate down. They want to be up there. I want to be up there with them. So, number one is surround yourself by a fantastic team. And I think, being in the mastermind and things like that, surround yourself by amazing people that are going to bring you up and make you a better version of yourself. And number two is suffer in the front. You're going to suffer in the front is better than suffering in the back 100% of the time. Awesome.
So that's,
I don't know if I answered your question, but
that's okay. I mean, I've still, you've enhanced me and my perception. And so, from every guest, I take, so many, the value that they provide me and how they enrich me. And that's what this is about. So I think that right there is what you're proud of. That accomplishment, that perseverance of, making it through. And so much, it's all mind, right? How you set your mind. And I think it is. Mind is such a powerful tool, and we have the ability to be able to retune our mind and retune our thoughts. And like you said, either suffer in the front or suffer in the back.
Always choose suffer in the front.
So
you might not be in the front, but at least you're going to be closer to the front.
Absolutely. So, William, as we approach the last final minutes of our show, tell me what is it that people who are watching you can do for you? I know that you are, you've launched this CBD company, and you're hoping to help other veterans as well. Mental health issue and veterans. I think what it is that you guys do at the front end, whether it's Army or military or Navy or Navy SEALs, I mean, it probably leaves such a huge impact on mental health. It's so much endurance, so much that you probably see, so much you witness, so much you have to become survivors, right?
Right.
That's not an easy place to be in.
It's not. And to kind of tag on that, the Veteran Affairs has, and speaking to mental health, they've estimated that 22 veterans take their own lives every single day. And they actually, the new numbers that have come out, they estimate that, as of November 2020, they estimate that that number is up to 26. And so 26 veterans a day take their own life. We've lost more veterans to suicide than we have from 20 years in combat. And yes, we've been in sustained combat operations for 20 years. This 9/11 will be 20 years to the day of, those guys flying airplanes into to the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. So we've lost more veterans to that. But, we also have first responders. We have everyday people. I wrote down earlier, I looked it up earlier, there are so many people in the United States that suffer from stress, depression, anxiety, things like that. It's like, I think the number is 42%, 46%. What is it? 41.5% of every American as of November 2020 suffer from some form of depression or anxiety.
That's
disorder.
a huge number.
That is
That's
a huge number.
Every second person suffers.
I think it went from 36% to 41.5%. Yeah.
That's huge.
That's huge. I mean, the pharmaceutical industry is like, let's go. Give me some patients to give drugs to. I'm trying to offer a natural approach. Pharmaceuticals have a purpose, but I used to rely on alcohol and pharmaceuticals to kind of deal with my stuff. All it does is mask the problem. It doesn't help me deal with the problem. So through CBD it's just a modality that helped me with my own self-talk. It helped me to get to a place where I could help heal myself. I mean, CBD did some other cool stuff. It helped with some of my PTSD. I mean, I call it baggage. I don't call it PTSD. Some of my other baggage that have some pains and ailments that I still have. They just don't hurt as bad. And so sort of, my mission really is, at Naked Warrior Recovery is to make that 22 to 0. And maybe I'll make some shirts that say 22 to 0 for our mission and sort of our why we do what we do. But CBD is a modality. I sponsor several nonprofit organizations that help veterans either transition from the military, find them jobs, help train them to do other things, suicide prevention, things like that. So as a matter of fact, we're going to do a swim with the GI Go Fund. This will be the third year that we do it, where I did it last year and I'll do it again this year, where we start in New Jersey. We swim out to the Statue of Liberty. It's actually a barge in front of the Statue of Liberty. We do 22 pull-ups to bring awareness to 22 veterans a day. And then we do 100 push-ups. And then we get back in the water and we swim over to Ellis Island and we do it again. And then we get back in the water and we swim to Lower Manhattan to the 9/11 Memorial and we do it again. So it's about 3.5 miles of running and about 3 miles of swimming. And it's like right now there's about over 100 veterans, SEALs, first responders, and patriots that are signed up to do the swim. There were only about 50 or so of us last year. I think there's well over 100 this year ready to do it. So I have a link. I have my own. I think if you go GI Go Fund /Naked Warrior, maybe is. But anyway, I don't need credit for any donations that anyone gives. But I think last year we raised about $300,000 to help homeless veterans, train veterans, help give them jobs and things like that, sort of some rehabilitation. And then hopefully we triple that this year. So anyway, but if you want to support me, you can go to Naked Warrior. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You can go to nw-recovery.com for any CBD products or Naked Warrior Recovery. NW just stands for Naked Warrior, but I didn't know if anyone wanted to write naked into their search engine. And or you could go to any of the apparel that we have is nakedwarriorapparel.com. You can also get there through the CBD site. And
William, how about this? I'm going to tag you. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I'm going to thank you. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. So I'm going to tag you on, just follow me on the different places, and I'm going to tag you. So just go and post the links to both the places. Whatever you need to do, just post the links over there so that we create whatever awareness we are able to create for you.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And any final words of advice for the watchers?
I would say my final words of advice are Never quit, accept failure, kill mediocrity, expose your fears, and do the work. Get naked.
Sounds perfect, William. It was an honor and a pleasure having you share your journey and your story.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely, on my stream. Thank you for being here. So that was William. You're able to connect with him. And, as always, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. And I meet so many of you. And you all come and you tell me that, you watch my show every Tuesday, 4 p.m. I am humbled and I'm so grateful. And I'm honored that you take the time out of your day to listen to the podcast. And if this inspires you, please do share it. Join my email list, vip@saimadillon.com. Email me. Let's get in touch. And of course, if you feel that you can help me change lives, just take 30 seconds to share the link in a text or post it on social media, and I will be so grateful. Until next time, thank you for being here, and thank you for watching the show.